Workman Wildlife Center. I'd like to give you just a couple of quick statistics, Governor, since your last visit. I was talking with the staff, and we've had over 4,000 visitors since opening day on June 4th. They've hosted multiple day camps, cooperator meetings, and group outings in the short few months that it's been open already. Some of the groups were Master Naturalist, Lincoln County Library, and the Mushroom Club of West Virginia. The DNR staff, in conjunction with the Forks of Coal Foundation, the DEP, Dunbar City Police, West Virginia State Extension Service, and the Division of Forestry hosted a back-to-school science, technology, engineering, arts, mathematics, or STEAM bash on August the 20th, and we had over 250 kids in attendance. So this facility has really been one that we can be proud of. A couple of big upcoming events. They have their Project Wet Water Festival on September 27, and an elk restoration talk with Randy Kelly on October 1st. So kudos to all involved in this. Governor, your generosity with the funding opportunities and the approval for this facility will truly prove to be an educational gem for many generations. Also, you guys will notice right off the bat the box and enclosure up front. I'd like to throw out a special thanks to Roger Anderson, who is a retired wildlife employee out of the Elkins office, who spearheaded the construction of that box that has our surprises in it, I'll say that. So anyway, without further delay, I do have the privilege of introducing a true friend of the Division of Natural Resources and a believer in our state and the beauty of our natural resources, Governor Jim Justice.
Well, you're very kind. And Brett, what an incredible job you're doing. And all of you as well. And this facility is off the chart. We all know that. And the benefits of what we're going to derive from this incredible facility and everything going forward, limitless. Now, I've got, Baby Dog is usually not this intense. And I didn't really know we'd have Quail here, but I love it. Now, if I could just step back and take you on a little brief, period of time a long time ago. When I grew up, we always had bird dogs. Most always they were English setters. And I along with my dad, and probably I was 4 or 5 years old, and he had a single shot 22 that he some way got blanks, and I carried that 22 with those blanks in it behind him, in the woods, and if he was, that we would have some way, somehow come upon a grouse and get a grouse and shoot it with my blank and everything and think I was Davy Crow. But, and then I got old enough to where I was able to carry a single shot 410. And I killed my first quail with a single shot 410, and I was 10 years old. And I was out of my mind about that. And then through all that time, we didn't have the opportunities to where we would go and we would find, 8 or 10 coveys of quail. In all honesty, if we'd find 4 or 5 coveys in a day, it was a red banner day. And so we've never really had the habitat in West Virginia like maybe the Carolinas had or whatever, to have bobwhite quail just in abundance. But through that time, naturally, we've lost some level of habitat along the way. But now imagine this, as a 23 or 24-year-old, season of the 75 season, I was able to, and I have a diary that has every day that I went. And during that time, I got 163 quail in the state of West Virginia, which would have been the 75-76 year. No, I'm sorry. I've got it wrong. It was the 75-76 year first, and the next year, which would have been the 76-77 year, because the quail season came in early November, and it lasts till the end of February. Okay, so now I'm in the 76, 77 year. And at that point in time, the diary clearly reflects that on the day before Christmas, I had gotten 103 quail. Now just imagine this. Since that date, I've never shot my shotgun at a quail in West Virginia since that date. That was December the 24th, 1976. The year before, I got 163 quail, and in that year, I'd gotten 103 quail. So there had to be lots of quail. You know, well, what happened? Well, in the winter of 1977, that's when Governor Rockefeller sent everybody home. The blizzard was coming. And the blizzard never really materialized here, but it started snowing the evening of the 24th of December, at least where I was. And it snowed and snowed and snowed. And then on top of that, we got temperatures that were just unprecedented. Unprecedented. We had like 12 days in Beckley that the temperatures were significantly below zero. And at times they reached like 10 below zero, regular temperature, not whatever they call it, that's adjusted. But nevertheless, through that time, we had 20 inches of snow on the ground. And the snow never left the ground until March. And absolutely the snow crusted over, and these little rascals perished beyond belief. They're pleasant, just unbelievable, call in the spring and the early summer. Their bob white just extinguished all of us and just left in every way, everywhere. Now, naturally, there was some survivors that were in the lower altitudes, from the standpoint maybe on the Ohio River or the Kanawha River, there was a few, but not many. So since that time, we've been hopeful, that they'd make some level back and everything, and they haven't. And the reason they haven't is their numbers are not very many. Our predators are pretty tough on them. And with all that being said, the habitat's not great. So, what do we do? And a couple years ago, we tried to find wild birds, whether they're Texas or South Carolina or Georgia or wherever, and bring in wild birds and turn them loose. And we found a few. They're really expensive, really, really expensive, and we got a few. And we turned them loose, I guess, it was at Tomlinson? Tomlinson, the wildlife refuge there. And again, we probably didn't have everything all prepared exactly for them. And the success, not very great. Now this program right now, what we're doing right now is a little different. I would be one that would always advocate, if you've got a wild bird population and everything, why introduce birds that are 10 weeks old that, are raised in captivity? But if you have no wild bird population, and many parts of our state have none, why not try? And why not try from the standpoint of our outdoorsmen, from the standpoint that they can enjoy, the hunting of these birds right now? So these birds that we get are 10 weeks old. They're flight conditioned like crazy and everything. They come from the very, very best of the best to try to absolutely, replicate wild birds as best we can. What we're hoping for is just this. We've released almost 12,000 so far. And with that, right behind that, we're going to release up to 20,000, 21,000 immediately. Now, with that, what we're very hopeful for is just this. We want our hunters to enjoy them. We want absolutely, the fact that you don't advocate this, but predators will get a few of them. And really, the others will learn. And as they progress and learn, we hope for regeneration. We'll get some. We've done it and done it and done it. I mean, I've done this over and over and over and over and over. So we put them out in coveys of 25 and everything. We do it in a way, in a methodology, that you basically put the box on the ground with 25 birds in the box. You pile ice up against the opening on the box. You leave them where they come right out, where they walk out instead of fly out. And then there'll be grain, sorghum or whatever on the ground where they'll adapt to that area and everything. And then you have to be on a feeding program of about 1 pound per bird per week. And so for those 25 birds, we'll have to feed them about once a week. They won't stay in that immediate area, but they'll stay within probably a 5 to 8 acre area and everything, because that's what quail will do, no matter wild or pen raised. It won't make any difference. So with all that being said, then the regeneration comes next spring. And we're very, very hopeful that it's going to be between 10 and 30%. It is an extremely cheap program to do this. I don't know the exact cost of these birds, but they're probably less than $5, And so if we put out 21,000, it's going to cost us $105,000. A little bit of feed cost, but really and truly, and it's probably going to be less than 100,000. So with all that being said, it's a cheap way of introducing quail back into West Virginia, and a very hopeful way of getting significant regeneration, and then off we go. Well, I've missed these little rascals, and lots of people have. Lots of people that were your moms and dads remember them very, very well. And absolutely, it's a bird that has been here forever, and an incredible, wildlife that we need to try to protect and we need to bring back. So this is a real step forward, and I'm really, really proud to be a little teeny part again. And so I know it'll work. I mean, I've seen it and seen it and seen it and seen it. I know it'll work, and our outdoorsmen will really enjoy, finding a covey of birds that will absolutely astound them in West Virginia, because a lot of people have grown up, since the winter of 1976, 77, and they've not seen a quail in West Virginia. So nevertheless, I'm proud, like I said, to be a part of it. I think you guys are doing, and girls are doing an incredible job. And Baby Dog would like to turn one of those quail into nuggets right now. But nevertheless, thank you so much, and I'm really proud. It's a great day in West Virginia. We got the video to watch. Maybe I wasn't supposed to talk so much then. Okay, watch this. This is really neat. The early 70s, bobwhite quail were still quite common in West Virginia. And then we had the winter of 1977. We had snow on the ground the entire winter. It just almost extinguished our bobwhite quail. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to reestablish bobwhite quail in West Virginia. And we're doing some stockings, on wild birds that we've been able to get, but in areas where we do not have any wild quail at all, none. We're trying something that is a release of 10-week-old birds.
This will be an opportunity for us to try to create some natural regeneration from stock birds to get that population back. Generated by Governor Justice, he has an extreme interest in the upland bird program. He'd like to see multiple varieties of birds, and this is one of the first ones that we've looked at. We've developed with our wildlife resources section focal management areas in 4 parts of the state. The others where we didn't experience lots of coveys, we decided to stock some birds in it, and this is the fruit of what we're doing now. So we're finally getting to see these birds on the ground. Over 20,000 birds total will be stocked at 7 different state areas, 6 wildlife management areas and 1 state forest.
The enclosure is called a refugia, and it's got the wooden platform in it so that the birds in the box can be put under it, out of the sun. It gives them a little, gives them some cover under there, and then the fence around it to keep some of the bigger predators from being able to get into it.
So we're going to open it up, cut a little hole in the crate that the birds are in, place the block of ice in front of it. The idea is then that they can, as the ice melts, they can come out on their own, and then we'll scatter seed in and around the refugia to give them kind of a head start to be able to feed.
These fields with thick tree-lined edges, which is good for the quail to be able to, they're a grassland bird. The edges provide escape cover for them to be able to get away from predators.
That's a familiar sound that we heard a lot in the spring or early summer years and years ago. I've always enjoyed being outdoors with a, English setter bird dog or a bird dog, and trying to find a covey of quail and everything, and it was easy to do growing up. But we're in the process of trying to release 1,000 coveys this year, coveys of 25 birds per covey, and so if we can get that done, and then follow it up in the years to come for just a little while, it may really pay big dividends, and we will at least be able to hear that beautiful sound in the spring that I led off with.
Okay.
Let me just tell you one other thing real quick. A lot of, these guys and gals that are putting these birds out and doing this work and everything, the way this whole thing was done is you build a little wire enclosure almost in a circle, 6-foot circle or something like that. You put the birds out in the with a little plywood top on it that keeps the rain off of them or gives them a little place right there. But you very, very quickly, they migrate right out of that, and then they stay together and they go on their way. Now, they'll sometimes come back to that area, but really that area, all that does is really protect them just for a little while, just a few days and everything, because a predator then, that would be after them and everything could hit the wire, and then maybe they'll fly and get away and everything. But so the whole thing, the way the whole thing is devised and everything, it, like I said, earlier on, it'll work. It really will work, and it'll amaze you, that the survival of these birds from now through the winter and everything. But we just gotta help them a little bit and supplement just a little bit, because we don't have the greatest habitat on the planet and everything. And like I saw where they're releasing those birds is all real good and all that, but we supplement them a little bit through the winter with that, like I said, with that feeding every week of a pound per bird. So, but no, they're doing great stuff, good stuff.
That's awesome. Thank you, Governor. And folks, as we've heard, over 20,000 birds will be stocked at the locations there on the map: Burnsville Lake, WMA, Cross Creek, Huttonsville, Laurel Lake, Pleasant Creek, Greenbrier State Forest, and Frozen Camp, WMA. And if I may add about Frozen Camp, I had not had the opportunity to visit that area, but I was truly amazed with some of that area up top. The habitat is just ideal conditions. And hey, I even heard a rumor that there was a 5.5-year-old 150 class buck taken there last year, which is pretty awesome for public land. Anyway, I digressed a bit, but Governor, we have been monitoring the birds regularly. We've got our cell cameras on several different sites. I can't even tell you exactly how many we have out, but we've gotten several videos. I know I've shared a couple with you. We've also had limited mortality reports to this point, so we're feeling very confident that the program's going to be successful. I've also personally received comments from dove hunters and some of our hikers and those out and about in these areas about sightings and hearing some noises that they haven't heard that have been void for many years, so it's an awesome program. I do want to thank all the staff, as Governor Justice alluded to. This program has been quite a chore, and there's a lot of steps involved to get those 21,000 birds out for sure. But Governor, I didn't share this one little funny story with you. You know, the day I went in and told Zach Brown and Brian Bolyard we were going to the governor's mansion to create a prototype pen in the garage, their eyes were as big as kids on Christmas morning. So that was quite an experience for them. But seriously, it has been an exciting project, and we do believe that there will be some natural regeneration. I'd also like to point out that Trevor from the State Wildlife Center in French Creek transported these birds down this morning, and they've actually created an enclosure there that's right along the walking path. So hopefully next year we can get you up there for their centennial celebration, 100 years of the State Wildlife Center. So we hope to have some events and some activities going there, but I had the opportunity to visit myself recently. It was better than I remember as a kid. So it had been several years. But anyway, I'll turn it back over to you in just a second. I think maybe Wendy may have a little something to present the baby dog, if that's...
Okay, we're done, I guess.
That's it. Maybe if Steve and Zach and...
If y'all want to come and say hi to baby dog, come on, you know.